What's up, sports fans? So this is Igor again for Boys Couch and Ball, covering our third episode. And we are joined in the studio today by the usual suspects, aka Henny, Chris, Linda and Barrett. And together we form Earth's mightiest heroes against bullshit in sport. And today we're going to kick things off with chatting about the British Open that's actually still on now while we're doing this podcast. Then we're going to chat a bit about the Rugby Championship that kicked off this week. I'm sure everybody knows. And then we're going to do a bit of a transfer roundup. Pretty exciting from all of our favorite football teams in Europe. So guys, let's just get it started. Henny had his birthday on Friday. Henny, how's your birthday, bro?
From what I can remember, Igor, it was a great night. Yes, obviously afterwards, cleaning up was not that great. But yes, you guys behaved yourselves in a better manner than I expected.
Yeah, I think the comment last week about the doubles on the weekend was definitely not underestimated. You know, and Chris, how was it? Chris, how does it feel? How does it feel living in a house with someone like Henny?
Well, Friday night was an absolute disaster. Well,
and Saturday night, an even bigger disaster.
Friday night was an absolute disaster. When we had to clean up afterwards, hungover.
But at least you guys can support Chelsea together, and I mean that's all that counts at the end of the day, I guess.
Thank goodness for these.
And then Linda, how was your week?
No, it was good. It was good.
A better sporting week than last week.
Yes, it was the British Open. So yeah, that's what I live for.
And Barrett, do you have anything to add for us? Do you have anything interesting that went down in your week?
No, not really. I had a fun birthday Friday. Some great meat, great friends, great booze. What more do you want?
No, that's exactly why I came. I don't really know, and I just came because I know there's going to be meat. And in any case, so
Just don't get it.
So the British Open kicked off this week. Obviously, Rory McIlroy, I think, made the best Proteas impersonation in the history of golf. It's a course that he's been playing. It's a course that he's been playing at since he was 16
Months old.
Yeah.
Since he was 5.
Since he was 5. But I remember he played some sort of miraculous round when he was 16.
He has the course record for 61 at the age of 16.
Yeah, but he's not going to challenge that record in this British Open.
No, he followed that up with the opening round of 79, which is only 18 shots worse than what he played it at 16. So, according to stats, when Rory is about 40, he'll play the course in about 96.
97.
97.
And I don't know if you guys watched this. Linda, did you check Rory's first round, or his first couple of holes?
Yeah, he started off brilliantly with a snap hook out of bounds. Started his tournament with a quadruple bogey 8, and then started to make a comeback, and then finished it off with a triple bogey at the last hole. So there was really nothing he could do after that. He fought hard on Friday, played a 65, but still missed the cut by 1. So that was, I think, for him really disappointing, being it's in front of his home fans, and they really cheered for him, and they were backing him, but then he just let them down, as he does.
Tiger let down a lot of people as well. Not only the bus full of Swedish models that follow him around, but he let down a whole lot of his fans as well. And would you care to elaborate on Tiger's British Open?
Yes, I think Tiger struggled to find the hole in the first couple of...
One of the few times he struggles to find the hole.
Yes. But no, Tiger had had a bad start to his round. His first round also went out in a +6. Tried to save it on the next day, rallied for a couple of holes, but in the end, just like Rory, was too far back and just couldn't make the cut. That's the second missed cut for Tiger this year. 2 in a row after winning the Masters in glorious fashion. He looks far from the player that he was in the beginning of the year. Maybe, as Mido would say, maybe his back is tightening up, or maybe he's just full of shit. So, and played a horrible tournament. You decide.
And then, Linda, we're watching the British Open now. Why is everyone missing the hole now? What is happening? I mean, it seems like watching the Premier League teams compete for top 4. No one wants it.
Yeah, well, obviously Shane Lowry currently on the back 9. Just started his back 9. Is still 6 shots ahead. So theoretically he should win easily, but we've seen Jordan Spieth on the back 9. We've seen Rory McIlroy on the back 9. So anything can happen, and he's starting.
We've seen Tiger on 9 backs as well.
And it seems like he's starting to tighten up, missing a few short putts, making a few drops. So it's not over yet. We'll see what happens. But he's played brilliantly all week. He's been by far the best player, and I think really he deserves this victory. But you never deserve anything until you win it. So we'll see what happens. But I'm calling a choke and a Tommy Fleetwood victory with 9 holes to go. Yeah.
Thanks for your input there, Linda. So moving on from the British Open.
Forward in the scrums. And we lost quite a number of our line-outs. So it's easy for us to sit here and say we should have pushed them inside the 22 and kept them there, but we couldn't win our own line-out ball clearly.
Lesser formatted Rugby Championship was spotted this weekend. Obviously not as many games. Australia played South Africa, and New Zealand went all the way to Argentina. So Chris, let's get started with the South Africans, with the Bokke Wallabies game. What happened with? I was a bit apprehensive with Rassi's selection. I think he made a couple of brave calls, especially Trevor, who hasn't played for the Springboks in a little while. Also gave away a lot of scrum penalties in the Super Rugby, and Jantjies being included ahead of Ivan van Zyl and Embrose Papier, both of whom have Springbok experience. So, but it seemed like he sort of got it right in the end. I mean, the Springboks beat the Wallabies pretty comprehensively in the end. So, talk us a bit through that.
So yeah, it was basically South African B against Australia B. I say it's Australia B because they played without Pocock and Falau, and that's basically the whole team. But yeah, if you think about it, I was the first guy who said Jantjies is going to be a disaster, and he proved me wrong. He had a good game. So that was a good selection from Rassi's side. Scoring 2 tries, man of the match performance. So yeah, that's a good sign going into the World Cup. I think he'll probably be in the World Cup plans along with Kobus Reinach and Faf de Klerk. But yeah, all in all, it was a good performance by the Boks. I totally understand why Rassie flew 13 guys this week already to New Zealand to be fresh for the weekend, and the rest of them flew last night and this morning. So good call, brave call, but yeah, it paid off. And yeah,
and someone
good result for the Boks.
Someone who actually impressed me as well. But we've all known Alton Jantjies is very up and down, but it just shows he can sort of play decent rugby when his team isn't the worst team on the field. He played a pretty decent game. I'm not saying he's going to be the rugby player of the year, but he could have been a hell of a lot worse. We've seen him a hell of a lot worse, and he slaughtered all his kicks at goal.
Definitely, he had one of his better games in the green and gold jerseys, but I don't think he should come on for Pollard. I think Pollard should definitely play all 80 minutes for any World Cup game. Alton Jantjies just does not have the BMT, does not have the quality to bring us home the trophy, be it from the starting 15 or the bench.
I don't know.
Pollard
I would like to save Pollard against someone like. I know there's one minnow team in our group. I would play Jantjies against them. I don't think the Springboks will have a problem against one of the lesser teams in our group, and just to save Pollard some energy.
And the thing is, with Frans staying in the squad now, maybe he'll cover Flav and centre on the bench, so you could bench Frans Steyn alongside with the utility back.
Yeah, and I mean for Frans had his first start, not first start, man. He came up off the bench and was pretty impressive. He smashed a couple of guys with his
definitely
with his running. Had a pretty solid 3/4 of a half, I guess you could say. And I really hope they decide to include him, because we need some power on inside centre.
What did you think of Marcel Coetzee, Francois Lowe, and the other loose forwards?
I thought Reinhard Elstad went a bit missing, but Reinhard Elstad, I'm unfortunately the Storm supporter since way back when, so I know Reinhard Elstad's game, and he's more of a cleaning number 6, which is a very weird sort of number 6 to have in your team, and he got a bit lost. At least he won as a penalty with someone cleaning him late, early in the second half. But I suppose I can't give the credit for that penalty to him. So he got a bit lost, and Marcel played a good game, but I would love to see him play like 60 minutes rather than shorter than that.
Yes, definitely. I think Marcel Coetzee should definitely be included.
No, he would always be my number one. If I were to set up a Springbok team, he would be the number one. The first player I put in the Springbok team will be Marcel Coetzee. He's a ball running, fetching, tackling number 6 flanker. I mean, he's all the flanker stats that you can think of in Europe. Those are the stats that he tops each and every season. If he doesn't,
if he's number 6, where will Captain Kulisi play?
No, obviously they'll never bench Kulisi. There's no way, for a variety of reasons. But no, they'll never bench Kulisi. I don't know. Rassie has. I don't think Rassie really distinguishes between number 8, 7 and 6 anymore. I don't think he has that luxury. So I think he's going to take our best 2 flankers, or best 2 8th men, or best 2 whatever, and just put them on the field on 8 and 7. I wouldn't put it past him to start Coetzee at 8. Coetzee has played 8 for his. He has played 8 in semi-finals for his domestic team in Ireland. So I won't put it past Rassie to start him there, which is something I won't mind seeing as a line-out option. So yeah.
This will be quite controversial, but if we look at the quality that we have at loose forwards, should Siya Kolisi be starting for the Springboks?
No,
or do you think it's better that because he won't be on form coming back from an injury, do you think it's better that he tells the coach, let me sit out a bit and play with... They've got Marcel Coetzee, Pieter Steph du Toit at 7, Dwayne Vermeulen at 8. That will be the best three. That would be the best loose forwards at the World Cup, without a doubt.
I think it's a bit harsh to tell Kolisi that he should tell the coach that he's not ready. I mean, if you're a Springbok player, you're not going to tell the coach, "Luister, bro, I know I've been injured and I'm not ready to take the field for my country." I don't think that will happen. But in my personal opinion, and statistics will agree with me, I think Siya Kolisi may be the 8th or 9th best flank in South Africa. Depending on which stats you use. If you use turnover balls, he's very, very much in the middle. The running meters that he gains are from centre and from overlaps usually. He's not a flanker that you can use in channel 1 ball ever. Kolisi weighs about 106, and I don't think he's got the body to run channel 1 balls. So in my opinion, he's not good enough. But before we get too swept up in only the Springboks, can we quickly discuss how screwed Australian rugby is at the moment without Pocock and Folau?
Michael Checker had to blame the ref in a 10-minute rant. Again, it seems that's part of his job description. I think he knows his days are numbered. I think that after the World Cup, he's a goner. He hasn't improved. Mediocre Australian side, but they should definitely be performing better than what they currently are.
Yeah. Yes, let's be honest. If you could tell me 7 months ago that you can take any 2 players out of the Australian side, you would probably pick Pocock and Folau. They are by far well, they're definitely Pokop's their best forward and Falau's their most dangerous and exciting backline player. They've lost both of them. Pocock will be a doubt for the World Cup. He is a big loss for Australia because watching last night's game, I don't think Australia had one turnover ball on the floor. And I think Michael Cheika has a lot to... there's a lot of blame that has to be put aside. I do think he has a tendency of picking his New South Wales friends. People like Bernard Foley. I would like to see someone like Quade Cooper come in. Rhys Hodge playing him at wing. That makes no sense to me. I would rather like to see Rhys Hodge, someone that has the tactical game, has a boot on him, play at 12. Australia usually play a number 12 that's creative, someone like Matt Giteau or Kurtley Beale. If you're not going to play Kurtley Beale, I think they should play Rhys Hodge there. He's obviously a bit bigger than Kurtley Beale, better on the fence, but I also think he's got a tactical mind, a good kicking game, and he'll give that Australian backline some creativity, which I think they are lacking. And yes, Australia are in desperate need for their props to come back from injury, because as we saw last night, their scrum.
And it wasn't an 8-team Springbok scrum by any means,
exactly.
by any stretch. I think that might be probably one of the weakest starting front threes they're going to face in the Rugby Championship. Once the Crusaders players comes back to New Zealand, Australia are going to be absolutely devastated. And Argentina showed the weekend as well. Their scrum is also up to par, and they've been the Jaguares have been one of the best scrumming teams in Super Rugby as well. So Australia, I think, are in big trouble when it comes to set pieces.
No, Igor, I totally agree with you. I do think that Cheika needs to look at the Brumbies, how they played the Super Rugby. I think they had the most line-out drive tries, again for I think the third year running. I do think that, and I'm not saying that the Brumbies have the best tight five in the world, but I do think that is a tight five, if chosen correctly by Michael Cheika, using those props, using Fahinga that had a breakthrough season. I think if he chooses the Brumbies tight five, I think at least they'll be competitive. They'll win their own ball in scrums. They'll not give away so many penalties and make it easy for the opposition to put pressure on them.
I think for Australia at this moment in time, it's only going to be about damage control for the World Cup, is to not be an absolute disgrace from this point on, because I thought they were really poor at Ellis Park. And I mean, it's not like South African teams have been setting Super Rugby alight, and it wasn't the best South African team that we can field by far. But I think moving on from there was also another game, Argentina versus New Zealand. So before we get to our New Zealand, almost lost that game. An interesting tactic that Argentina employed, I don't know if you guys watched it, but I think Nicolas Sanchez gets something like 9 or 10 up and unders. Argentina actually scored a try from an up and under that Nicolas Sanchez kicked in the All Blacks 22, and I think it was one of the only times I saw Ben Smith completely misjudge a high ball out of the air. You know, I'd like to hear from you, because I know you are a particular fan of New Zealand in some cases, or you know their backline pretty well. Is it why kick high balls on New Zealand with the quality of the back three that they have?
Listen, it's not a tactic I would employ, but I'll have to admit that Argentina wings, even the Jaguares, it's the same team, just different jerseys, they have quite tall wings, and yes, it's a tactic they used. They used it in Super Rugby. It worked last night against New Zealand, but I'm going to be honest, I won't go into a game telling my fly half to kick up and unders every day on Ben Smith. Ben Smith is world class. In my opinion, he's probably been the most consistent rugby player in the world in the last 10 years. You really see Ben Smith have a bad game. And then, yes, unfortunately, Sanchez missed a penalty in the 50th minute. Crucial penalty. Small margins against New Zealand. Always feels like New Zealand just know how to win. They know how to get the job done. All the small margins, they win those small battles. But I do think, talking about New Zealand, that New Zealand are in a bit of trouble. This is not a New Zealand team that we saw 4 years ago completely dominate people with the pace of the game, the tempo, their handling skills. I think World Rugby has caught up to New Zealand, and I think if you take 2 or 3 players out of that New Zealand side, someone like Brody Retallick or Kieran Reid, that pack of forwards are in trouble. Whether they're going to come against someone like South Africa or Argentina, or even Ireland, have a great pack. I think they are a bit vulnerable in the World Cup if someone like Retallick gets injured.
And even with when you look at New Zealand, obviously they were without the Crusaders players who stayed behind in New Zealand for the Springbok clash. But let's chat a bit about Argentina. I was very skeptic about Argentina lifting the game at all in any sense. And then they played their set pieces were really, really good. I mean, they got a couple of maul penalties against the All Blacks. It's not every team in world rugby that gets to say that. Very, very good game. And I think, so sad, I think their discipline cost them again. I think it was Lavanini in somewhere in the end of the first half, hands in the scrum right next to the referee, stupid stuff like that. But I think all in all from Argentina, decent performance. Nicolas Sanchez, I think, changes the complete complexion of their backline, gives them so much more impetus going forward. And I think I was very skeptic. Initially, you guys know this. But I think Argentina may have put together a really, really good team for the World Cup. And only time will tell if this was just a really bad performance from New Zealand or if Argentina put them under real pressure. So yeah, I think that wraps up our cap of the Rugby Championship. So let's look at predictions for next week. I think it's Australia, Argentina, New Zealand, South Africa. South Africa obviously playing in New Zealand with a more, probably you could say a more, maybe not full strength, but a more regular set of players, and New Zealand also getting the Crusaders back. Chris, how's that one going to pan out?
Well, yeah, the Boks are playing New Zealand at Wellington, the place where we beat them last year. So only good memories. I think Russia has a real plan here. He wants to beat New Zealand before the World Cup, make a statement. And I actually do believe it's going to be a close game. The Crusaders players are coming back for New Zealand, so that's obviously a plus side on their side. But
Malcolm's coming back for South Africa. Peter Steff
obviously
coming back. The backline, I think, is going to get a hell of a shake-up in the midfield and pivot area.
Yes, I agree with you. I think Rossi will go all out for this game. I think he sees this as the benchmark before the World Cup at where we are at as a team now. He will put out his best side, put out his game plan that he wants to play in the World Cup, and see how close we are to New Zealand. So I also think it'll be a tight game. I think we have a chance. I think the 50-50 calls has to go our way, obviously. But I think it'll be a good game to watch.
I think Russ is going to go all out and try to put Beauden Barrett under as much pressure as he possibly can. I think the times New Zealand has looked really fragile, or a lot of those times Beauden Barrett wasn't at the top of his game. New Zealand's 2 losses against Ireland the last couple of years comes to mind. But yeah, I also think it's going to be a very, very good game. And then going on to Argentina, Australia. I think Australia are going to get whacked here.
Well, they're playing in Australia, so it's a away game for Argentina. I actually think it's going to be a close game, but I'll back the Argentines here. I do believe they have a good team now, settled team that played together literally the whole year. So yeah, I think Argentina by 5-6 points.
I agree with you. I agree completely, and I think that wraps up our Rugby Championship coverage. Obviously, tune in next week. We're going to cover these games again, chat a bit more about the stats and the games and so on. And now we're going to move on to some very, very juicy stuff.
It's 2 yards, man. I guarantee if you'd done the same, but do you think we'd be telling you off?
Football transfers. Obviously, we started off this week with Tottenham's biggest moment of the year 2019, selling Kieran Trippier for actual money and not monopoly money. I thought Atletico Madrid was just taking the piss, but they seem to have been serious. And once I saw Kieran Trippier in an Atletico Madrid shirt, I could not contain my ecstasy. I was just so happy to see that. And there's been other couple of pretty high profile transfers. Christoph, what have you noticed regarding what do you want to chat about regarding the most recent transfers?
I want to chat Real Madrid's comments, or not Real Madrid, more specifically Zinedine Zidane's comments about Gareth Bale. He has, while definitely not a club legend, he has served
been
Real
good.
Madrid.
He's been really
He
good.
served Real Madrid the past 6-7 years. He's he scored crucial goals. He scored cup winning goals. You think Copa del Rey against Barcelona, that one comes to mind. Champions League bicycle kick.
Yeah.
He's done his fair share for Real Madrid, and a coach who's always diplomatic, who has always been a friendly person, a player's choice, has now come out and said he hopes Gareth Bale leaves and that there's literally no place for him in the squad. And obviously Gareth Bale's agent has fired back, but it's a strange move from Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah, obviously, for me as a Tottenham fan, that's music to my ears because I'm hoping for like one of those deals where we pay like half his wages for a year and pay like 20 mil or whatever. That'll be great because I don't think Gareth Bale has had his injuries and issues, but I mean, he's definitely been a lot better than some of the other players that has been in Madrid set up the last 2 years and even starting. I mean, if I had to pick between Vasquez and Bale, I know they play on different wings. But if I had to choose between them, there's only one choice for me, and that's Gareth Bale each and every time. It'll even be a close toss-up for me between Bale and Hazard even, because Bale is a quality world-class player. I mean, he's not really had a massive dip in form. He didn't go like 12 games and not scored, and he's always quick, and he's a pretty hard worker. I remember when this whole thing started, he was like, no, he wants to show that he can earn his place in the team. But I personally think he's just going to play golf in Spain and earn 400,000 euros or whatever he earns a week.
Yes, definitely.
Have coffee every day with his wife and not go train.
He's
Sounds
got
like
the
life.
quality, and the only question is, does London have the golf course? That is the only clause that still has to be identified in his contract.
But I think moving on from there, Chris, you've also got a list of transfers that you thought are headline worthy.
Yeah, so the major headlines this week were Juventus, starting off with Juventus signing their number one target, De Ligt, the 19-year-old.
Probably the biggest transfer. Probably the biggest transfer of
€75
this window so far.
So yeah, that was a good signing for them.
The absolute travesty about that is the fact that Manchester United are willing to pay 90 million for Harry Maguire, and Juve got De Ligt for 75 million. I think 75 million.
Similar, but I think with United, or their logic is you pay for experience, and Harry Maguire is 7 years older than De Ligt. But De Ligt has played more Champions League semi-finals than I think Harry Maguire will play in the entirety of his career. So yeah, absolutely disgusting transfer logics from English clubs once again.
The last story I want to talk about is Barcelona made an official bid for Neymar.
Ooh.
90 million euros plus 2 players. Now these players are mentioned to be either Rakitic, Coutinho, Dembele, Semedo.
Yeah, I know. Apparently they submitted a list of like 6 players, and they
Yeah.
told PSG you can choose the 2 you want.
So that would be interesting. I'm not sure how financial fair play will work here, but still, let's wait and see.
If I was PSG, I would definitely do it. Get Neymar, get that cancer out of my dressing room. Then everyone can be friends again. And then I would happily take Coutinho, Rakitic, Dembele, any one of those. I would not mind. I think it'll give them a lot more depth, and maybe they'll be able to beat United in the they won't beat them in the Champions League because United aren't playing there. But hopefully they can beat Chelsea in the Champions League next season with those signings.
Chris, let me ask you, if they do sign Neymar, what do you think can you play, since they've signed Griezmann, they've got Suarez, they've got Messi, can all 4 play in the same team? Who's falling out? What's your front three going to be if it is a front three?
4-1-5.
Come on, Eni.
Busquets in the middle, and then Messi, my false 9.
So you're following the blueprint of Arsenal for the last 10 years.
Yes,
You
exactly.
score 5, we score 6. Against Portsmouth.
I think that. Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
well,
I
they
don't-
tried that tactic against Bayern, and it's like we score 2 and you score 10.
No, but I've got this thing about clubs like this having a hell of a lot of superstars. Like, it's unsustainable. I think egos are going to clash. People are going to hate each other. No one wants to be. I mean, if Griezmann was the star player at Atletico, Neymar is the star player at PSG, and so on. And now you're going to put players that were all the best at the clubs in the same team as Messi. The only person that's going to get the limelight here is the world's favorite rodent.
Do you mean Messi?
Yes. Is it only me that thinks Messi looks like a rodent? It's not a bad thing. I mean, I think we've all seen attractive rodents. Okay, so I think moving on, let's get to our. I think we've wrapped up all 3 our biggest stories for the week. So let's quickly chat about Africa's biggest soccer competition. Obviously, the final was played this week. It was AFCON, done and dusted now. Barrett, you were there in Egypt watching the game.
Thoroughly enjoyed Egypt. It was a wonderful place. Wonderful match as well. Went against the grain of the match. Just
Yeah, it was
reading
a
the
FIFA
stats
match,
here.
basically.
Senegal against Algeria. Senegal lost 0-1 to Algeria, a 2-minute strike. Senegal had 12 shots on target. No, sorry. 12 shots, 3 on target. 63% possession. Algeria had 1 shot, 1 on target, with obviously 37% possession. And they won with a 2-minute goal from Baghdad Bounaja. Ecstatic. It was a wonderful match. Wonderful refereeing, if I do say so myself. We have been critical of AFCON's refereeing as well as their pitches. And Egypt was all you could expect from a continental final. I was thoroughly impressed, and I can't wait for the next one.
And I think there's been rumours that Arsenal lining up a sensational swoop for Baghdad for 78 mil from the Egypt, the local pub team in Egypt.
If you think about it, it makes sense. He is French born.
Yeah, and
He is dark skinned. He's a number 9, and Yaya Sanogo hasn't played because of injuries. So there's that void that Arsenal need to fill.
That needs to fill.
So I think
exactly.
They've got a rumoured £45 million budget. I think they should go all in for Baghdad.
And Chris, moving on from the AFCON, I think this was the third round of the Curry Cup or second round of the Curry Cup. Second round.
No, the
So
second
talk us
round of the
through
Curry
what
Cup started off with the clash between the Griquas and the Pumas. The Griquas beat them 37-29, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but this just epitomizes the state of SA Rugby. The Griquas are leading the
Yeah, but the other
competition
teams are without their
with
Springboks.
10 points from 2 games. But going on, the Free State Cheetahs beat the Blue Bulls 43-27 at Loftus.
Ooh, the Bulls are terrible this year in the Curry Cup.
Yeah, and the South Sea Sharks beat the Western Province 32-27. I watched all 3 games. All 3 games were painfully average.
And do you think there's going to be a spectacular game next week?
No. But the bribe will be spectacular.
The bribe
At
will be
Jenny's
great.
place.
The brandy will be flowing, and the rugby will be terrible. You heard it here first.
Sounds like a beautiful Saturday.
And then I think lastly, just before we wrap up, next week, the 28th of July, it's the German F1. Lewis Hamilton, obviously on top of the pile, winning at Silverstone. Once again, is anyone taking Hamilton's crown? Is there anyone that can beat Hamilton?
Last year, Vettel took the lead for most of the race. He was ahead, I think, by 17 seconds, quite a big margin. It was raining. He lost concentration and he slipped. So my guess, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to be bold. Vettel 8th place.
You heard it here first. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the inside scoop. But yeah, okay. Obviously, I think we've decided Vettel 8th, probably Leclerc either 2nd or 3rd, and maybe and definitely Hamel leading. I don't know, 2nd. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Linda.
Yeah, it will probably just be another Mercedes 1-2. And a boring race.
Before we leave you guys, let's have a quick recap of the Tour de France. We'll be covering a bit more in depth next week as well. Alaphilippe is still leading at this stage. Is he going to win it, Linda?
No. But today was the 15th stage. It was they started climbing the Pyrenees mountains, so that's where the Tour de France actually starts. Simon Yates won today's stage, and yes, and Geraint Thomas gained a bit of time on Alaphilippe, so he's only 1 minute 35 seconds behind him now. I think this week will be really interesting. Apparently the big stage, the deciding stage, will be on Thursday, so that will be something to watch. All the drug users climbing the mountains should be good. Should be a good watch.
Okay, thanks. I would like to say thank you to my expert group of panelists who gave up their Sunday of doing nothing else to come and sit here today and have a lovely chat. So catch us next week, same time, same place on Monday for the next Boys Couch Ball. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave your comments downstairs to give us your thoughts. Cheers, guys.